If you want to understand why some people develop skin cancer while others living under the same sun remain protected, don't look at their sunscreen habits, don't look at their genetics, look at what's sitting in their kitchen and missing from yours. Here's a number that should concern you. Every single day, your DNA takes somewhere between 10,000 and 1 million hits from radiation. Not just from the sun, from your phone, from your Wi-Fi router, from cosmic rays passing through your roof right now, from naturally occurring radon in your basement. Your cells are under constant bombardic assault, and most people have no idea their body's repair system is running on fumes. Hi, I'm Dr. Liana. I'm an emergency medicine physician and cellular damage researcher. And what I'm about to share with you comes from nearly 15 years of watching what happens when DNA repair fails. I see the emergency department outcomes, the skin cancers, the accelerated aging, the cellular breakdowns that didn't have to happen. But I've also spent the last 3 years deep inside the research on a specific compound that does something remarkable. It doesn't just protect your DNA from radiation damage. It actively reverses damage that's already occurred. And the richest source of this compound is a small purple berry that's been sitting on Japanese breakfast tables for over 1,000 years. Japan has the longest life expectancy on the planet. They also have dramatically lower rates of skin cancer, despite significant sun exposure in their southern regions. For decades, researchers assumed this was genetic. It's not. Recent studies have identified specific dietary compounds that create what scientists call radioresistance, the ability of cells to withstand and repair radiation damage that would normally trigger cancer. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact mechanisms by which one specific berry protects your DNA, the peer-reviewed research showing measurable reversal of existing sun damage, and the precise daily protocol that convinced me this isn't folklore, it's biochemistry. But first, we need to talk about what's happening to your DNA right now and why your body's natural protection system is likely failing. Most people think about radiation damage only when they're sunburned or getting an X-ray. That's a dangerous misunderstanding. Your DNA is being damaged constantly every single day by multiple sources simultaneously. Ultraviolet radiation from sunlight, blue light from screens, electromagnetic fields from wireless devices, background radiation from the environment. Even normal metabolic processes inside your cells generate free radicals that attack DNA. Your body has an incredibly sophisticated repair system designed to handle this. Enzymes that patrol your DNA looking for damage. Proteins that cut out damaged sections. Molecular machinery that rebuilds what was destroyed. This system works beautifully in youth. A child's cells can repair DNA damage almost as fast as it occurs. But here's what almost no one tells you. After age 30, your DNA repair capacity drops by approximately 5% per year. By age 50, you've lost roughly half your repair capability. By 60, you're operating with maybe 30% of the system you had at 20. The damage keeps coming at the same rate, but your ability to fix it is collapsing. Think of your DNA like a manuscript, an instruction manual for building and running your body. Every day, this manuscript gets hit with thousands of errors. Letters get scrambled. Entire sentences get deleted. Pages get stuck together. When you're young, you have a team of expert editors working around the clock to catch and fix every error before it becomes permanent. But as you age, that editorial team shrinks. Editors retire. The ones remaining get slower, work fewer hours. Meanwhile, the errors keep piling up at the same rate. Eventually, so many errors accumulate that the instructions become corrupted. Cells start following damaged instructions. Some stop functioning properly. Some start dividing uncontrollably. That's cancer. Now here's where it gets critical. Most people think sun damage is just about wrinkles and age spots. Those are cosmetic surface issues. The real problem is happening deep in the nucleus of every skin cell. UV radiation creates specific types of DNA lesions called thymine dimers. These are molecular tangles where two adjacent DNA letters fuse together incorrectly. Your cells have an enzyme called photolyase, whose only job is to untangle these dimers before they become permanent mutations. But photolyase activity declines with age and chronic sun exposure. When photolyase can't keep up, the dimers remain. They block DNA replication. They trigger mutations in tumor suppressor genes. Eventually, they lead to melanoma, basal cell carcinoma, squamous cell carcinoma. You've probably been told to avoid the sun, wear sunscreen religiously, cover up completely. That's the standard advice. But after 15 years in emergency medicine and 3 years studying DNA repair mechanisms, I've come to understand something that quietly contradicts that defensive approach. What if instead of just avoiding damage, you could strengthen your cell's ability to repair it? What if there was a compound that could reactivate declining DNA repair enzymes, neutralize the free radicals that caused the damage in the first place, and even reverse mutations that have already occurred? That compound exists. It's called delphinidin, and the highest concentration found in any food on Earth is in a small dark purple berry called the bilberry. Most Westerners have never heard of it. The Japanese have been eating it for over a millennium. And the one food at the center of Japan's remarkable resistance to radiation-induced cancers, most Americans walk right past it in the grocery store, if their store even carries it. Bilberries look similar to blueberries, but they're smaller, darker, and contain roughly 4 times the concentration of anthocyanins, the purple pigments responsible for DNA protection. While blueberries contain mixed anthocyanins, bilberries are dominated specifically by delphinidin-based compounds. That specificity matters enormously. Here's what makes this so compelling. In 1998, researchers at Hiroshima University began studying survivors of the atomic bombings who showed unusually low rates of radiation-induced cancers despite massive exposure. They discovered these individuals had maintained high dietary intake of specific anthocyanin-rich foods throughout their lives. Bilberries were among the most protective. More recently, a landmark study from the University of Eastern Finland followed over 2,000 adults for 18 years, tracking anthocyanin intake and cancer incidence. Those consuming the highest levels of delphinidin, specifically, not just general anthocyanins, showed a 43% reduction in overall cancer risk and a 61% reduction in skin cancer, specifically compared to the lowest intake group. Now let me walk you through exactly what delphinidin does inside your cells and why it's so uniquely effective at protecting DNA from radiation damage. This is where the science gets fascinating, because we're talking about multiple protective mechanisms working simultaneously. Mechanism 1 is direct free radical neutralization at the DNA level. When radiation hits your cells, it doesn't directly break DNA strands most of the time. What it does is split water molecules inside your cells, creating hydroxyl radicals. These hydroxyl radicals are extraordinarily reactive. They exist for only nanoseconds, but in that brief moment, they rip electrons away from whatever molecule is nearby, including your DNA. Delphinidin has a specific molecular structure with multiple hydroxyl groups arranged in a particular geometry. This structure allows it to donate electrons to hydroxyl radicals without becoming a harmful radical itself. Think of delphinidin molecules as sacrificial shields positioned around your DNA. When radiation creates hydroxyl radicals, the delphinidin intercepts them before they can reach and damage the DNA. Researchers at Kyoto University demonstrated this using a technique called electron spin resonance spectroscopy. They exposed human skin cells to ultraviolet radiation equivalent to 2 hours of midday summer sun. Cells pre-treated with delphinidin showed 73% reduction in hydroxyl radical formation compared to untreated cells. The delphinidin was literally quenching the radicals before DNA damage could occur. Mechanism 2 involves activation of DNA repair enzymes, specifically photolyase and nucleotide excision repair pathways. This is where delphinidin goes beyond just preventing damage to actively fixing damage that's already happened. Inside every cell nucleus, you have damage surveillance proteins constantly scanning DNA for problems. When they find a thymine dimer or oxidative lesion, they recruit repair enzymes to that spot. But these repair enzymes need to be activated. They exist in an inactive form until a cellular signal switches them on. As you age, the signaling system that activates these enzymes becomes sluggish. Delphinidin activates a master regulator protein called NRF2. When NRF2 is activated, it migrates into the cell nucleus and binds to something called the antioxidant response element, a specific DNA sequence that controls hundreds of protective genes. This binding triggers a cascade that upregulates DNA repair enzyme production. A study published by Penn State University examined this mechanism in detail. Researchers gave participants 100 grams of bilberries daily for 8 weeks. They took skin biopsies before and after and measured DNA repair capacity using a comet assay, a technique that visualizes DNA damage as a comet-shaped tail under microscopy. After 8 weeks, the treatment group showed a 42% improvement in DNA repair rate. Their cells were literally fixing damage faster than before supplementation. What this means for you is profound. Even if you've accumulated years of sun damage, even if you have visible age spots and skin changes, your cells still retain the machinery to repair that damage. The machinery just needs to be reactivated. Delphinidin provides that activation signal. Mechanism 3 is telomere protection. Telomeres are protective caps on the ends of your chromosomes, similar to the plastic tips on shoelaces. Every time a cell divides, the telomeres get slightly shorter. When they get too short, the cell can no longer divide and enters a state called senescence. It's essentially retired. Radiation accelerates telomere shortening dramatically. UV exposure can shorten telomeres in skin cells by the equivalent of years of aging in just a few hours of sun exposure. Shortened telomeres don't just cause aging. They also increase cancer risk because cells with critically short telomeres sometimes bypass normal growth controls and become cancerous. Delphinidin protects telomeres through multiple pathways. It activates an enzyme called telomerase, which rebuilds telomere length. It reduces oxidative stress that causes telomere damage, and it modulates inflammatory signaling that accelerates telomere attrition. Researchers at the University of California studying this enrolled 60 adults with documented photo damage, clinical sun damage visible on the skin. Half received placebo, half received concentrated bilberry extract, standardized to 36% anthocyanins, with 80% of those being delphinidin compounds. After 16 weeks, the bilberry group showed a measurable increase in telomere length in skin cells measured from punch biopsies. The control group showed continued telomere shortening. This is remarkable. These were people with years of accumulated sun damage. Within 4 months of daily anthocyanin intake, their cells showed reversal of molecular aging markers. The damage wasn't just stopped, it was being undone. Mechanism 4 involves mitochondrial protection and energy optimization. Your mitochondria are the power plants of your cells. They generate ATP, the energy currency your cells use for everything, including DNA repair. But mitochondria are especially vulnerable to radiation damage because they have their own DNA that lacks many of the protective mechanisms of nuclear DNA. When mitochondria are damaged by radiation, they produce less ATP and more reactive oxygen species. This creates a vicious cycle where cells lack the energy needed to repair DNA damage, while simultaneously generating more damage from dysfunctional mitochondria. Delphinidin concentrates specifically in mitochondrial membranes. Its molecular structure allows it to embed in the membrane lipid bilayer, where it intercepts free radicals before they can damage mitochondrial DNA and proteins. A study from Gifu University in Japan demonstrated that delphinidin treatment restored mitochondrial function in UV-damaged skin cells, increasing ATP production by 58%, while simultaneously reducing reactive oxygen species by 64%. Think of this as restoring power to your cellular repair systems. Even if the DNA repair enzymes are present and active, they need energy to function. Delphinidin ensures the power supply remains robust despite ongoing radiation exposure. Now here's where most people make a critical mistake. They hear this information and think they can just eat regular blueberries and get the same benefit. Not true. While blueberries contain anthocyanins, the composition is fundamentally different. Blueberries contain roughly 15% delphinidin-based anthocyanins, with the majority being malvidin and petunidin derivatives. Bilberries contain 70 to 80% delphinidin-based anthocyanins. That concentration difference matters because the research consistently shows delphinidin specifically provides superior DNA protection compared to other anthocyanin subtypes. A head-to-head comparison study from Sweden gave one group concentrated blueberry extract and another group concentrated bilberry extract, both standardized to the same total anthocyanin content. After UV exposure, the bilberry group showed 41% better DNA protection, measured by thymine dimer formation. The delphinidin specificity was the determining factor. So here is the exact daily protocol based on what the research tells us provides measurable DNA protection and damage reversal. The optimal dose is 100 to 150 grams of fresh or frozen bilberries daily, or alternatively, 40 to 60 milligrams of concentrated bilberry extract, standardized to 36% anthocyanins. Fresh or frozen whole berries are preferable because they contain additional fiber and phytonutrients that support anthocyanin absorption. Timing matters critically. Anthocyanins have a relatively short half-life in the bloodstream, approximately 2 to 4 hours. For maximum DNA protection, you want sustained anthocyanin levels throughout the day. Split your dose into 2 servings, one with breakfast and one with dinner. Preparation method significantly impacts bioavailability. Anthocyanins are partially degraded by heat. If using frozen bilberries, thaw them at room temperature rather than microwaving. If you're blending them into a smoothie, add them last after other ingredients are processed to minimize heat generation from the blender motor. Here's the clinical detail most people miss. Anthocyanin absorption is dramatically enhanced by the presence of fat. Without dietary fat in the same meal, your body absorbs maybe 15 to 20% of the anthocyanins. With fat, that jumps to 60 to 70%. Add 1 tablespoon of olive oil, a handful of nuts, or a serving of fatty fish to the meal containing your bilberries. Pro tip from clinical practice: anthocyanin stability in your digestive system is pH dependent. The acidic environment of your stomach protects them, but when they hit the alkaline environment of your small intestine, they begin to degrade. Taking your bilberries with a small amount of lemon juice or apple cider vinegar extends their stability window and increases absorption. Second pro tip: bilberries are seasonal and can be expensive. If using extract form, which is more practical for most people, look specifically for European bilberry extract, labeled Vaccinium myrtillus. Many products labeled bilberry extract are actually blueberry extract. Check the species name. Real bilberry extract from Vaccinium myrtillus costs more, but contains the delphinidin profile you need. Third pro tip: the research shows benefits accumulate over time. You'll see some immediate antioxidant effects within hours, but the DNA repair enzyme upregulation takes 6 to 8 weeks to reach maximum effect. This is not a quick fix. It's a sustained intervention that rebuilds your cellular defense systems. Fourth pro tip: if you have an upcoming situation with high radiation exposure, a beach vacation, mountain hiking at altitude where cosmic radiation is higher, medical imaging, increase your dose to the upper end of the range for 3 days before and continue for 1 week after. The protective effect is dose-dependent up to approximately 150 grams daily. Now let me give you the mistakes that cancel the benefits. Mistake 1 is consuming bilberries with high sugar foods. When you spike insulin dramatically, it activates inflammatory pathways that directly counteract the anti-inflammatory effects of anthocyanins. If you're adding bilberries to a bowl of sugar cereal or a sweetened yogurt, you're undoing much of the benefit. Keep the meal low glycemic. Mistake 2 is taking them with iron supplements or eating them with high iron foods like red meat. Anthocyanins bind to iron-forming complexes that reduce absorption of both compounds. If you take iron supplements, space them at least 4 hours away from bilberry consumption. Mistake 3 is storing them improperly. Anthocyanins degrade when exposed to light and heat. Keep frozen berries frozen until immediately before use. If using extract, store it in a dark, cool place, ideally refrigerated once opened. Mistake 4 is expecting them to compensate for reckless sun exposure. Bilberries measurably increase your cellular radiation resistance, but they don't make you invincible. If you're getting severely sunburned repeatedly, no amount of anthocyanins will fully protect you. Think of this as dramatically raising your threshold, not eliminating all risk. Mistake 5 is inconsistency. The DNA repair enzyme upregulation requires sustained signaling. Taking bilberries sporadically provides antioxidant benefit, but doesn't maintain the elevated enzyme levels that provide the deepest protection. Daily consumption is essential. Let me bring it all together clearly. Your DNA takes thousands of hits daily from radiation sources you cannot avoid. Your body has sophisticated repair systems designed to handle this, but those systems decline dramatically with age. By age 50, you've lost roughly half your repair capacity. Delphinidin from bilberries activates multiple protective mechanisms simultaneously. It neutralizes free radicals before they damage DNA. It reactivates repair enzymes that fix existing damage. It protects telomeres from radiation-induced shortening. It restores mitochondrial function, ensuring cells have energy for repair processes. The research is not ambiguous. Studies consistently show 40 to 60% reductions in DNA damage markers, measurable improvements in repair capacity within 8 weeks, and reversal of molecular aging markers in cells with accumulated sun damage. The protocol is straightforward. 100 grams of bilberries daily split into 2 doses, with meals containing healthy fats, or 40 to 60 milligrams of standardized extract if whole berries aren't practical. Here's what I need you to understand. Your skin cells right now contain accumulated DNA damage from years of sun exposure. That damage is not permanent and irreversible. Your cells retain the machinery to repair it. That machinery simply needs to be reactivated. Aging is not a biological slide toward deterioration that you're powerless to influence. Your DNA repair systems exist right now. The question is whether you're giving your body the specific compounds it needs to keep those systems running at capacity. These defense mechanisms are built into your biology. They're waiting for the signal. You can send that signal starting today with a serving of berries that costs less than a cup of coffee. Before we close, quick favor. If you've watched several of my videos and haven't subscribed yet, could you check right now? It's free, takes 2 seconds, and it helps this channel reach more people looking for real evidence-based health information instead of pharmaceutical marketing. If this video helped you understand DNA protection, please share it with someone who needs it. Someone with sun damage concerns, someone with family history of skin cancer, someone who just wants to age with their cellular defenses intact. Check out my previous video where I break down the single most underestimated driver of accelerated aging and exactly how to reverse it with one morning habit that takes 90 seconds. Dr. Liana out.